Time has come once again because this is the second time we're doing it to speak as or to yeah to speak as co-creators in Magic Do. I'm Daniel Zubois,
I'm Michaela Gavinstone.
and we're your guides on your journey into the heart of the primordial. Welcome to season 7, episode 2. It's all about where you got to be. That's the title
Yes.
that just came to me. All right.
Mhm.
So, what does that title mean? All right. I already feel the bubble of stuff coming up for it. So you got to pick your practice, I guess is basically what it is. Actually, a case came to me yesterday. I've noticed, like I was telling Michaela before the episode, all week long for the last 7 days, including today, I went through a bunch of gates, appeared to me, and I went through them one day at a time with a different spirit we've worked with on the show. And and I'm starting to think like, how am I going to remember everything that happens in these gates, or how am I going to remember? Because every time I went to a gate, the entity I was supposed to see behind the gate gave me a key. So I'm like, am I going to remember who these keys belong to? And I thought to myself, well, maybe not. I actually wrote on my whiteboard, what gate, who went with me. I was going to write what I got out of it, but it's always the same thing. They give me a key. So also called the Great Key. So it's like, all right, the Great Key. So it's the Great Key for whatever this place is. And it made me think like that's a lot of entities to work with. Like I'm not really cultivating a real relationship beyond just meeting them, doing one thing with them, and moving away. So, but that's my practice, right? Uh, I got to take a little bit of a tangent off on this one. So, when we decided to switch into this new season, I had debated on whether or not dropping the title Wizard altogether, like just getting rid of it. Because one of the reasons is I was looking at it as like the title Wizard becomes like a separation, like as if this isn't something normal people do, but it's something you need to do if you have to have this special title. But it's natural to people. So it sent me down the road of thinking, so you're a human being. It is part of the primordial makeup of human beings to be in tune with magic. So what do you do? So your magic is just part of what you do. It's an extension of who you are. And it kind of left me thinking, well, then right now what I'm really doing essentially is heraldry. So I'm using heraldry magic. And if you think about what we did for
Hmm.
the last year, we prepped away, we've introduced things, which is basically a herald's job. A herald actually has way more duties than that. I didn't realize. I looked it up just to see, and they like judge contests, and they uh, was it they add legitimacy to things, and it's a bigger job than just saying, "Hey, somebody's coming," or "Hey, somebody's here." So about going where you need to be or whatever, like I said for the title, what is the extension of your humanity? What magic is the extension of you? Like I said, right now I'm doing heraldry magic. So all the magic, all the
Hmm.
spells I'm doing are related to creating a space for the spirits to show up or to be around or to build the connections. So,
I have some answers for you that dropped in.
all
There's
right.
a couple. One is the keys
Mm-hmm.
belong to Hecate, the keys of crossroads.
Hmm.
And the key is your boundary or not,
Right.
depending on how you use it and how you request Hecate's help with that. But
Oh,
keys are associated with Hecate. That's her thing. And then you asked the question, and I immediately got an answer, which was you said, "How am I going to remember all of this?"
mm-hmm.
And the answer that dropped in was, "You aren't. You're going to integrate it."
Ooh.
That was what I got. Very plain and simple.
All right, don't remember, integrate. That's normally how I try to do things, which is why you don't usually really see me quoting anyone with precision because I'm just remembering the concepts and the ideas that came behind it.
This is deeper. This is cellular. This is integrating the new understanding into you, how you are,
Hmm.
how you show up, what you're doing, your perspectives. It's a deep integration. It's a bit like adding something to your DNA
Uh,
at that level. It's not a place where you remember things because that's and this is channeling, but
mhm,
remembering it makes it superficial
right.
and less likely to be applied. So you don't have time, interestingly, you don't
Yeah.
have time to remember, you only have time to integrate.
Uh,
So you're skipping the remembering step and going straight into adding this into who you are and how you are.
well, that makes sense
Good.
because the follow-up to getting the keys is using the keys. And that's usually followed by me basically falling asleep and not remembering what happened for a couple hours.
Right. Yeah. Remembering isn't important, which is interesting. Remembering is not the point. It's not
Right.
necessary. In fact, surprisingly so, like unusually
Hmm.
so. It's absolutely not focus kind of thing. Remembering it. It doesn't matter if you remember it. The question is what shifted in you.
Right. Well, that's a big one because you know how we discussed, I think it was on the last episode of season 6, where we were like, okay, I don't have time for stuff anymore. As in I don't
Mhm.
have time to hold emotional space for these concepts. It's worse now
Right.
for me.
Or it's sped up for you
Yeah.
because time is, I mentioned collapsing time last time,
Right.
la- last time, last
Hmm.
episode, and I'm getting the information that collapsing time is going to be a feature, not so much a theme, but it's going to show up all the time, all the while. Um, collapsing time, time doesn't mean anything.
Right.
It's an artificial creation that mankind put together so that we could track what we needed to do or wanted to
Mm.
do and what we thought was supposed to happen and so on. But time isn't what we've made it out to be.
Right.
And it's one of the things that's falling away right now. It simply doesn't matter. Like remembering, it doesn't matter. It's what are you doing with it? Where did you put it within you? And how is it
Mm.
now showing up? What have you done differently because of it?
Yeah. Well,
That's
and
a whole heap of channeling going straight for you
yeah.
because it's it seems to be important that you let go of
Hmm.
the effort to remember.
Right. Well, that's
That's
the
not
thing
where
that,
your focus needs to go. That's
yeah.
not where your energy needs to go. It's in
Yeah.
integration.
Yeah. Letting go, though, has been a major theme for this week as well.
Mm.
It was like I had a backup epiphany, for lack of a better way of expressing it. It was like, so this is a year 9, right, in numerology, and it's like, so things are coming to an end, and then new things will start, and it's like, it was
Don't
essentially,
get me started. The internet will cut out.
yeah. But what happened is, it's like, you know why you're having a hard time starting things right now? Because you have shit to let go of first.
Yes, yes, that's absolutely it.
Yeah.
That is absolutely it. In
And I'm like, well, that
fact,
makes sense. I'm like, and I intellectually knew this, but I didn't have that visceral understanding of it.
so I drew a card today,
Hmm.
and the card I'm showing you
Ooh,
is
that's
the
from your new
lizard.
deck.
Yes, this is from the Animal Spirits,
Mm.
Animal Spirit Guidebook. And I'll read it to you because I think you'll like what we've got here.
All right.
The lizard is instinctual, sensitive to the subtle, and a dreamer. The lizard is an expert in the realm of sensory perception, as if it has a sixth sense. The lizard hears what is yet to be spoken, sees what is yet to manifest. Although this is an amazing gift, it can easily wear the lizard down. Big crowds, lots of travel, or overstimulation will drain a lizard of their magical essence. This card is an indication to pull back from the bright lights and the big city. Return to the inner artist who's been whispering your name. When in balance, you are artistic, telepathic, and spiritual. When out of balance, elusive, non-committal, even flaky. To bring into balance, you require a creative project.
Mm.
So that was the lizard, which I thought was rather an interesting one to draw today.
Yeah. Well, I see no,
I
I hear
had
no lies
chaos
from that.
last time.
Yeah, I hear no lies in there.
Mhm.
That
I
sums
had
it up.
chaos last time I drew a card.
Mm.
So
Yeah, no, it's very true. Actually, all that applies.
mhm.
All of it. There's nothing
Yep.
missing. There's no missing in there. Or sorry, there's nothing in there. I can just go, no, that doesn't apply. It's all there.
So after I pulled that card,
Hmm.
I created the sigil
Oh,
for the
okay.
podcast, which was a creative project, was it not?
Yes.
Um, and for the listener, the sigil has elements of Lilith, Hecate, and Kali in there, all great mothers.
And you'll be seeing it in the
Kali,
cover art.
yeah, and Kali cuts through the nonsense that surrounds us, burns down the things that needs to be burnt down, severs things that no longer serve, all in preparation for the recreation or the rebirth, the regrowing, however you want to look at that. Hecate is the guardian of boundaries, and she's also protective. And she, of course, is the mother of witchcraft. So there's other things for Hecate, but this is what's coming up. And then Lilith is here to reclaim the abandoned. She is here to empower the disempowered. She's here to claim her space. Enough of the bullshit. We now have Lilith. And she's not going anywhere. She's showing up all over the place. I see it in so many spaces.
Mm,
Um, I talked with a hypnotherapist the other day, and a male hypnotherapist, and he had such feminine energy. It was
mm,
fascinating. And it really was interesting because he was aware of it.
mm.
Um, and it was necessary for what he was doing. So yeah, it's showing up in a lot of places.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say because the second gate I went through, where I encountered the great consumer,
Mm.
I went with Lilith, and she has like things to do. She like grabbed me, threw me through the gate. I'm like, well, I'm still stuck at the gate. She goes, that's okay, I got you. She grabbed me, pulled me through, said, let's go. So what I learned in that one, actually, before I finished the story, to function properly behind the gates, because I told Michaela the first gate I went through was like I was stuck and I couldn't get through. But what I had to do is I had to strip away of as much of my identity in this world, in the physical world, as I could to continue going on deep inside the gate. It was
Also
interesting.
known as ego death.
Yeah. So essentially, to travel into the to do, I had to. I was essentially almost a. I want to use the word wraith, but I was basically like just a. That was the idea of me almost, rather than almost
They
a
have an
presence.
image.
Yeah.
They have an image to tell you, which is
Right.
you as or your body
Mm.
as a suitcase, and
Right.
you leave your suitcase at the door, and the
Yes.
rest of you goes through the door.
Yep.
But the identity, the ego, all the things that you associate with the body, the corporeal you, gets to stay with the suitcase. And
Right.
what's left, the essence of you, goes through the gate.
Yes. And that's how it's been. Yeah. So that's how since that day, that's the second gate. So for the rest of the gates, that's what I've been doing. It's been a lot easier. Actually, today I stayed longer than I had all week in the gate. But that's also because the entity in the gate wanted to hang out and talk for a bit. But actually, the last three gates were like that. It was like I was just sitting around having conversations after the task was done and then coming back.
Hmm.
But yeah, Lilith was like, in, okay, you got the key you need. Okay, get the hell through. It's like, we're going, we're doing the next thing. Okay, now we got to go. Okay, get in your meditative position. We're going to use the key. Let's go.
Right. Yeah, that's. it's interesting, but now that you know you're aware to leave,
Yeah.
all the things attached to
Hmm.
corporeal, with the suitcase, I think the travel will be so much
Yeah.
easier, faster. Again, collapsing time. You'll just be there
Right. Well, yeah, because first going,
simultaneously.
yeah, because at first going through the gate was like, oh, it's a shadow place. Okay. But
Mhm.
now there's more detail, there's more light, there's more now that I've gotten now that I leave all the other stuff behind. So,
Yeah, because if you think about it, how can you travel into those realms with the you that belongs to the planet?
right.
It doesn't work. It's not meant to go there. That aspect of you isn't meant to be in the ethereal place.
Hmm. No, it's good. That's
So
that's
now,
exactly the impression I got. Your
uh-huh,
worldly self, that doesn't come. It has no place here.
right.
So,
It's not the purpose. The
right,
corporeal self is meant to be here, experiencing and learning the things that it came here for. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If that's the only thing a person does with their life on this planet, that's absolutely fine. That's what you came for.
right.
The the key, if you will, for this particular one is to make sure, as far as you can, that you're open to learning.
Hmm.
That's the corporeal self. And the ethereal, it's a whole different thing. It's it's not learning so much as integrating, becoming,
Yeah.
evolving, shifting. These are the words I'm getting. It's like shape shifting almost. No, it's like shape shifting. I have to take away the almost. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Because remember, we've talked about this a few several episodes ago. Because I had said that. It says, "Oh, there I go. I'm using weasel words. I'm,
Mhm.
I'm giving deniability, plausible deniability to the word."
Yeah, softening what's being said, and I
Yeah.
just got to slap up the head for that one.
Yeah.
It's like, no, take away the almost. It is, that's exactly what it is. Okay, fine. I find when I try and soften things or
Hmm.
lessen the impact because I'm trying to be um, either cover myself for accuracy or
Right.
trying to be nice to the person I'm telling it to, it does not go well.
Well,
It does not go well. The person can't receive what I'm telling them. They can't receive the message because the message wasn't complete.
right.
They
You're
can't
leaving room for
integrate
doubt.
the incomplete.
Yeah. You're leaving room for doubt.
Yeah, but they can't integrate the
Hmm.
incomplete, and
Yep.
that's apparently you do need to take that in with you to the next gate. The awareness
Okay.
that you can't integrate what's incomplete. So I'd be interested to hear how that shows up.
Yeah.
Because there's like a gap in what I'm seeing. There's literally a space of nothingness, and that can't be left like that. So I don't get to see what you're doing with it though.
Neither
Okay,
do I.
fine.
So
No,
at
but
this point,
you'll know when you do it.
yeah. I see the journey. I talk to the entity behind the gate, and then after that, it's once the key is turned, I don't remember
Mm.
anything. I have vague
It's so
ideas of what I was thinking about while I was getting into a space of relaxation. I know it was on my mind, but that's as best as I have it. But even I say that the gate on Thursday, I thought I was with it. I thought I had everything. I thought I was like, I'm following this. I'm going through with it. I have the experience. And then like just when it's about over, it's like, shit, I don't have it. None of this that I was thinking about has anything to do with what was just done.
right. And that's probably a
Yeah.
timely reminder of beware when you think you've got it down,
Right.
that it's an absolute signal that you haven't. That's yeah. I keep getting those. It's like getting slapped upside the head with a book or something. Like, no, you don't. And you
Yeah.
can't if it's a barrier. Like when you have that concept that I've got this, I know what I'm doing, it immediately solidifies and becomes a barrier.
Right.
And you can't move through it, so you have to lose it. And that's why I get slapped up the head, so the
Yep.
barrier doesn't stay long enough to solidify. It's
Well, that's the
it's
thing,
such a
right?
different place. It's a different space. It's a different set of requirements. And I
Mm.
think no. Okay, fine. I don't think I know that.
Mm,
When you are moving into that realm, it's really important to intentionally leave behind the aspects of you that you feel you want to bring and just
right.
be. Just go and be, because then you can receive. And you can't
Hmm.
receive if you're trying to drag yourself in, if you're trying to bring who you identify as in with you. There is a
Yeah,
separation that has to happen.
there is. It's very important. This is why, this new season and this new title and new level of the podcast is like people listening, especially the ones who are like the ones the spirits are trying to target, who are listening. Oh my God, you guys really should be listening. Like these instructions are very, 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 very important. I don't know if there was an actual word that would allow me to get rid of all those varies, but anyways,
Crucial?
yeah,
It's a good word. Um, yeah, the imagery that I'm getting is a very clear separation. There's like a veil in between, and what you are cannot pass into what you are going to be,
right.
or how you are in that other space. It simply doesn't go through. So that's something that I haven't had that clearly outlined to me until today. It hasn't really come up, honestly, until today, but it's coming up today, apparently. So there you go.
Works with the title.
The fun thing with this podcast is I never know what topic's going to come up or where it's going to go when it does come up. It is fascinating to me to see what starts channeling and how much of it is words and how much is images, moving images.
Right.
Today's a lot of images
That's the
so
thing,
far.
right? And I think we started early because we're doing the final prep for 2026 for people, or throwing in the last ideas.
Ooh, Carly is like a flamethrower right now. Woof. There is a lot of severance and
Mm,
disintegration of the stuff that's in the way. Like the path clearing is absolute.
yeah.
There's no, can I just keep this bit? Can I hang on to, I like that part, can I bring it? Actually, no, is the
Mm.
answer to all of that. No, you don't need it. And even if you think you do, it doesn't matter, you're not bringing it. So
Well, that's
think
yeah.
think a very stern parent who has had
Mm.
enough of your nonsense and they are not taking any more shit in any direction, and you are being hauled into something new, whether you like it or not. And what the things that you want to hang on to, whatever that is, whatever aspect of you that is, that has to be put up for, the word adoption came to mind. That doesn't seem to be right, though. It's like put up for something else or someone else to take it.
Right.
I have no idea where that's going, but that's
Well.
it's like you can take it if it's still there, but you have to offer it. Oh, that's it. It's an offering. You
Mm,
have to offer it. And then if the offering remains, it comes with. And if the offering is accepted, then it's accepted and you don't need to know what happens to it.
right.
Okay,
So
that's going to be
yeah,
interesting in your journey this week.
yeah. Well, I'll say this: I had to grab my black tourmaline.
Mhm.
I needed some relief from the pressure buildup, from the energy buildup.
It's been a week for me too, I can tell you. There's been a lot, and today was kind of hard to navigate this morning.
Yeah.
I think on days where the podcast is happening, there's
Mm,
sometimes it's a lot to navigate until I get to essentially offload on podcasts and just like, here, take it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like we passed the creating a mindset.
Oh
That think
yeah,
like a
no,
wizard part.
that's long gone.
Yeah. No, it's the you got to journey into back to the primordial. You have to get into it. You really have to immerse yourself. I still, when I think about it, I still get that vision of the rivers, going into the waterfall and opening into this huge cave system.
Uh-huh.
Like, and then the people coming off, and then kind of, for lack of a better description, having glider wings when they come off. Like a flight suit, with the
Uh-huh.
webbing there, like a flying squirrel, and then figuring out where they got to go from there.
Well, funnily enough, I have another card
Right,
from
flying
the
squirrel.
animal spirit, and it's eagle.
Ooh, nice.
And let me give you what it says about the eagle. It's an all-pervading power, truth seeker, transforms karma. The noble eagle emanates the light of the sun. This great bird is both physically and spiritually strong and represents a mastery over the elements of fire and air. When the eagle appears, you'll soon be thrown into the karmic fire for the sake of your transformation. The eagle pushes us to be our best and brightest selves and stops at nothing to see us shine. Grasp the sun in your talons and hold on for the ride. You are stronger than you think, eagle child. When in balance, bright, radiant, and challenges. When out of balance, controlling.
Mm,
And that's a theme I'm getting is you can't control this. You can't control what you take with you. Control is not the thing. To bring into balance, step into the unknown.
right.
Those are the only two cards I have for today, but they both required presenting.
No, it is good. I think this adds to it. So I was thinking about the brain, right? And the different systems in the brain and the discussion on consciousness and whether or not the brain produces consciousness or not, or is the brain a receiver?
Okay.
Now, part of my thing I was thinking about was a radio, right? Depending how you look at it, you can just say to yourself, well, the radio is the one that produces the music, right? Here's the part. Here's where if we damage this, the music doesn't come out anymore. So this must be the part, that's, involved in creating music. That's important. It's the part of the
Mm.
brain, the radio that generates music. And it's like, or it's a receiver. Like,
Or it's the part that allows you to access it.
right. So it comes down to this is the thing about knowledge, right? It comes down to the perspective you apply to the data you have. Because data in itself is not information. They're just points of awareness that you
Well,
have to put.
data isn't. No, I'm going to say data is information. It just doesn't have a meaning yet.
Well, that's okay. So this is also interesting. So as someone who was a programmer and worked in computers, we make the distinction between data or datum, singular, and information. Information is what happens when you interpret the data. So
Okay,
that's
so
that's a
different
vocabulary
language.
thing. Go ahead.
Different language,
Yeah,
because for me, this
yeah,
is coming from behavior
right.
analysis, where data is information. And when you analyze it,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes it has a meaning.
Meaning,
It
yeah,
becomes something that you can now put in a category or something. But it is information in its rawest form. You just
right.
haven't done anything with it yet. But that's two different viewpoints of the same thing, right? Two different perspectives. And the answer is yes, right? Neither of them
Yeah.
are wrong. The
Well, it still comes
point,
down to the same thing, right? Once it's interpreted, basically.
it needs to be transmuted. It
Right,
needs to be taken from the inert form it's in and put into something active.
right,
And that's the difference. And that's very much a key that's coming up today is the active. So, not needing to remember because you're integrating, it's
mm,
active,
right.
not. taking the old you with you because you can't carry that, right? It's like having the eagle flying with a cow in its talons.
Right.
It's an awful lot of work, you know? And the eagle might want to do that, and it
Mm,
may think it's a great idea, but it's not going to get very far for very long.
right. Yeah. And I like this because the reason I brought it up is because you're going to get a lot of signs, omens, and stuff like that, but you may misinterpret them. And then you might think, oh, well, this can't be an omen or a sign, whatever words you use for that, because it didn't play out the way I think it should have played out. But it's like, no, the data was correct. Your interpretation of the data. And I'm trying to think of an example I had where I just totally misunderstood because I took a different perspective on. Uh, I had not a vision, but I had a vibe, I guess. And I thought, okay, I know what this means. And I went to act on it, and it was like, and of course, it went wrong. And then I sat for
Yes,
a
because
minute,
you knew what it meant. You
right?
you
And
did that. You did that solidifying thing of,
yeah,
I know what this means. And then
mhm,
you went to take action of your own volition rather than simply following where you were taken.
right. And then when I went back on it after the events, I was like, smack yourself in the forehead and go, it made perfect sense why it went wrong because it also meant this if I had looked at it from a different perspective.
Ah, and that's precisely why corporeal you has to
Right.
stay with the suitcase because it gets in the way. It brings perspectives that you already know. And
Hmm.
if you knew the answers, you wouldn't need to go to these other places, right?
Right.
That's, yeah, if we knew everything, we wouldn't be here. And if we knew everything, we wouldn't want to go there. We wouldn't have any business there. So all the things that we're doing are indicative of the fact that we don't know.
Right.
And I know that sounds really like wackadoodle. I can hear it myself, but just slow that down, play it at like three-quarter speed or something.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm sure it sounds weird, but think of the concepts, like integrate those concepts that, yeah, it's just listen to it again. That's what I have.
Yeah. If you haven't already seen this in your awakening, now that you're awake, wow. I want I laugh because it's almost going to be like when you talk to people, it's almost like you're going to be talking to them in an alien language. The words are going to be the same, and the meanings are technically going to be the same, but how they're received,
Hmm. Maybe the awareness of them is different.
right?
Not really getting a clear image on that one. Okay, I'll just let that go where it goes. What I am getting is the tap, 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 time to mention Buddha again. And that is the concept of non-attachment, which a lot of people
Mm,
misinterpret as being you don't care. And that's no, what it means is you're not focused on a given outcome. It doesn't have to look a certain way. It doesn't even have to look anyway. It's you're doing your thing, you are where you are, and there's no further attachment to what that means, where that goes, what comes of it. It takes it takes some practice if you are far from it, but it also doesn't take time. It's one of those things,
right.
collapse time. It's one of those things where it's there. It's just waiting for you to turn around and say, "Oh, okay, cool. Let me go there."
Mm,
And then there you are. But that non-attachment just means you're not giving space in your aura, if you will, to an outcome, to what it
right.
needs to look like. Because that gets in the way. It's another case of solidifying a concept that you don't need to have. It's in the way.
Right. And you know what? I'll give you an example of why. Well, I'll share this story and you can do what you want with it. So my gate journeys, right? Today, when I went, this totally I was not expecting. I wouldn't have considered it a thing. you know, the entity in the gate today was the Cyclops from the story where Ulysses and his crew end up blinding the Cyclops to escape.
Hmm.
And I was like, I mean, I knew the story. I had a comic book with it, the story in it. I've seen it in animated form. I've watched it in movie form, So I was familiar with the story, but I wasn't expecting. And like I said, right, any story, a spirit just takes the story, uses the metaphor, and does its thing. So that just seeing that Cyclops alone, I wasn't expecting. In fact, when I saw a Cyclops with no eye, I was like, well, that's weird, you know. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's move on. And then we're talking, and its whole thing was, I'm going to use the word grievances, but I don't know if that's proper. But I'll finish the story and you tell me. So basically, the vibe I was getting was he just wanted to get along. He just wanted everyone to get along. He didn't want his idea was yes, people do bad things have happened, but this isn't serving us anymore, and it's actually getting very painful. And I don't know if this is an exaggeration of his position, but it's like he's one of the people carrying that grief, the grievances, carrying the weight of the grievances.
Hmm. Okay. I'm not getting access to that.
Right.
I don't have a thing on that.
All right, then it's my show for this one.
Interesting.
So it ties actually with something I've been seeing, like where my lack of patience is showing up. Because I'll look at posts on Facebook and I'm like, can we? This isn't getting us anywhere. Yes, people have done shitty things. Yes, that thing was done. Not everyone in that group does that. Like, actually, okay, okay, all right. So this is the thing, and I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before. I know I've said this in conversation with somebody. Don't blame a group. Blame the people actually responsible for what happened. The minute you blame a group, people can scapegoat and people can dodge responsibility because you're too busy accusing a group rather than the actual people responsible for what's happening.
Yes. I think you can feel where my uh, brain goes with that one, with the scapegoating and so on.
Mm,
It's perpetual, it seems. Um, it's kind of a proving fire
mm,
where when you're tempted to do that, to go with the herd and
right.
kind of blame a group without thought, without actually deep examination, whatever that is, you're missing the whole point of what came before, which is kind of an interesting thing I wouldn't have been expecting to say at this point because that's not my stance normally. But for example, if you look
Mm-hmm.
back to your mum's generation or your
Mm-hmm.
grandmother's generation, look back to your grandmother's generation, and
Right.
now think of how they were raised and how they raised their kids
Mm-hmm.
and the next generation and the next generation, right? And you think back as far as you can go in your family history and how people showed up and what they did. Pretty sure you can see how we got where we are now
Yeah.
on this planet. This is not a shock. It's not out of the blue, um, which we'd like to think it is, but it isn't. It was always heading this way. It was as inevitable as a train going downhill with no brakes.
Mm.
It's gonna get there, and
Yeah.
it was gonna be a pretty butt ugly crash at the bottom. And we happen to be, it's going off the rails at this point. We haven't finished crashing yet. And then there's the pickup and the change of how things are done. I'm so interested to see what that looks like. But again, this is where you need to figure out where you're going with it. Like, what are you prepared to try? What are you prepared to be open to? And if you want to stay in the mundane, first of all, I'm so interested that you're still here listening to us because that's,
Mm,
that's not something we particularly advocate. Um, but secondly, okay, you do you.
mm,
That's your choice. What are you missing?
yeah. The reason I bring it up is because one, having people blame a group, if you've been paying attention to history for ever at any point, it's how you separate people. It's how you divide and conquer is the first one.
Mhm. You other them.
Right. So that's a big one of it. So, and when people feel powerless, they'll go after the person that's othered, leaving the person who caused the problem in the first place to get away. That's a big one.
Yes. Yes. We see that everywhere right now.
Right. You can't solve a problem if you're not actually going after the source of the problem.
My question
Yeah.
is, do you believe that people are actually trying to solve a problem when they do that? Because I think not.
No, and that's the thing, right? That's why I'm saying it for the people who are listening to this who are that first wave of teachers that we've been talking about. They don't have the luxury of that kind of behavior or that kind of thinking because it's going to get in the way of what they need to do. How do you teach someone not to be hateful when you do hateful things?
It's an intentional
Right.
lowering of vibration.
Yes.
You are bringing yourself down in order to be comfortable. If I say the same thing as everybody else, then my opinions are popular. If I follow the herd, then I'm in with the in crowd, right? And it's a fascinating thing that we do at the
Mm,
moment because people talk about authenticity all the time. That is rapidly becoming a word that I have a problem with because it is misused and abused. People will urge others to be authentic, show up as yourself, be authentically you, until you do, and you don't happen to follow their line. You don't
right.
happen to agree with them. And then you're all kinds of wrong. There is no thought in this. There is no process in this. It is a knee-jerk reaction that you would expect from maybe a 2 or a 3-year-old. It's
Right.
not, there's no development there. This is very low level operation. So the vibrational level of a person doing that is intentionally sludgy.
Right.
There's no challenge there, right? It's like the victim. If you want to be a victim and you want to stay in your black hole and be comfortable in the thought that everything happens to you and you have no power to change anything, there is a very low vibration there that doesn't disturb anything. The dust can settle and you can just sit in your hole and be
Mm,
very comfortable in the thought that there's nothing you can do anyway and it's everybody else's fault. But there is zero growth there. Even mold won't grow. There is
right.
not, it is barren. And there is a reckoning for that. When you intentionally pull yourself down into that space by opting to just go with the flow, the biggest group, the noisiest people, etc. That is an intentional pulling of your vibration down.
Right.
And when you do that, there is, there's cause and effect for everything. So when a person does that, there is a payment, there is a reckoning, there is a
Mm,
balance that will come. I don't know. Do you want that one?
yeah.
Do you want to do that? Because it's not going to be the thing you think is familiar now and therefore in air quotes comfortable.
Mm,
It sure as hell isn't going to be. Right? There is a balance there.
yeah. You know what? I'm gonna add this in there because Kali's really pushing it, and I'm gonna
She's
say it
kind of
like
dancing.
yeah
She's dancing foot to foot right now. It's like
yeah.
she's pretty
I'm gonna
quiet.
say it like she's saying it. You're agents of change. You're not agents of perception of change. So you have to change things. You're not going with the flow with other people. You're changing what's happening. You're creating a new path for people. You can't create a new path by following the old path. It has to go in a different direction from the
As I
paths that
said
already
to a
exist. Good.
as I said to a client just last night, if nothing changes, then nothing changes.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep doing things the same way and you don't step out of the known into the unknown, then you'll keep getting exactly what you're getting right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna
And
throw
for some
a.
people, that's really cool, but for most people, that really isn't.
You know what? So I'm gonna throw this in. This is I'm not sure why. It is amusing, but I'm gonna throw this in. So I've been telling people for a long time, when you change things, things change.
Mhm.
As in, you just have to start doing something different, and you'll find change happening. So yes, the antidote to not changing things and expecting things to change is to just change something, because everything will change around it to accommodate
Yes,
that change you've made. So
yes.
if you feel
And it's
stuck
what,
right now, if you're still hesitant and stuck, just do something different.
yes. Flip the script. Step
Yeah,
out of the circle that's always counterclockwise. For example, go clockwise. Do something different. Go into a rectangle instead of a circle. Like just change a thing and see what's there now.
yeah,
Because that's basically it. You have to change something though.
right. So just as an
And
FYI for the listeners, I started using this expression because people started doing something different and then they were having trouble in their relationships. And I'm like, well, when you change things, things change. So you can't
right.
expect it to be the same as it was if you change your behavior.
Hmm. So for anyone who
Yeah.
is changing things and are concerned about that and what the effects might be that they don't want, here's your key for this, if you will. You let the people that are important to you, the people you're concerned about, you let them know that you're doing things differently and you're available to discuss it with them. That's kind of what I'm getting. You need to open a channel of communication, even though that might be scary, because if you don't, you again create one of those
Right.
solid barriers. The person that you're in that relationship with can't tell what you're doing if you don't tell them what you're doing. So we've got a lot of these very simple
Right.
sentences today, but they're important because that's it. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like when you change something and no one else knows you're changing, that change is still perceived whether you told no one about it, because that means there's things you're not doing like you did before. And yeah, part of me using it was like, well, yeah, your relationship changed because before you would do whatever A was, but you decided not to do A anymore, and now there's repercussions for not doing A.
Right.
So,
Absolutely. So think of in human design, manifestors are very powerful people. They have very strong energy, and a manifestor, in order to be able to do what they came to do, they need to tell people, they need to inform them I'm going to go do this thing. I'm going over here. Come if you want. Otherwise, I'll be back when I've done what I'm doing. But you need to inform them because otherwise, that person is left with no information and the human brain will fill that in. And we have a default setting for negative stories. And so it will be filled in with a negative story, such as that person doesn't care, they're not interested in me. They're off doing something that I wouldn't like, and there's a whole lot of stories that seamlessly fit in there because they're tailored for all occasions, right? And then things are not working well, and there's no reason for it. So if you are changing things, you may need to tell someone that you're changing things
yeah,
because they'll see, as you said, they will know that you are, but it means something different if you do it in silence. If you do it including them, at least with the information that it's happening, that shifts everything.
yeah. No. So,
Did you just get that that was it?
yeah,
Me too.
like as if everything just like we were walking and then all of a sudden everything just
That was
Disappeared.
it.
That's it.
No,
We're done.
I just got a like back turning to me and walking off. Like,
Mm,
oh, okay, fair enough.
yeah. I said what I
We're
needed to
good.
say. I'm out of here. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was like that was a very clear symbol of we're done.
All right. Well,
I don't
people.
even have another card to pull. Like, there's
No.
just that's it, done.
I know I got nothing either. It was like the curtains came down, the whole, the
Uh-huh.
road is gone now and it's
No,
moving to
I felt
something
that
else.
happen. I felt that happen. I
Yeah.
would love to know if anybody listening to the podcast just felt that too.
Yeah, because
Like,
it was pretty
did you get an awareness of that in the split second before we spoke? Because it was tangible.
it was.
Yeah. Oh, that was funny. Fine, go then.
Yep. All right. So once again, I'm Daniel Dubois.
I'm Michaela Gaffinstone.
Until next time.
Till next time.